Park Democrat Don Harmon was chosen as Illinois Senate President on Sunday, taking the helm of the General Assembly's upper chamber at a critical time in Springfield.
Harmon, who has had ambitions to lead the chamber since at least 2009 when retiring Senate President John Cullerton took over from Emil Jones Jr., assumes the top leadership post in the Senate at a time when Democrats hold a supermajority in both General Assembly chambers, but as the shadow of an ongoing federal corruption investigation has ensnared multiple lawmakers and left the Capitol on edge.
In his first remarks as Senate President Sunday night, Harmon said the change in leadership marks a chance to think about who we are, what the people need us to be, and how we can reset the tone of the culture here in Springfield.
Choosing a new leader, especially among your peers, is a leap of faith, Harmon said, just after being sworn in. I stand before you humbled by your confidence.
The selection came down to Harmon and Kimberly Lightford, a Maywood Democrat. Both have been part of Cullerton's leadership team and have been campaigning furiously in the 2 months since Cullerton announced he would retire in early January. Lightford, who is also chair of the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus, would have been the first woman to lead either chamber of the General Assembly.
Harmon's election returns the Senate presidency to the Chicago suburbs. The late Phil Rock, who presided over the chamber from 1979 to 1993, also was from Oak Park. He was succeeded by Republican Pate Phillip of Wooddale, then by Chicago Democrats Emil Jones Jr. and Cullerton.
Harmon, an attorney, was first elected to the Senate in 2002. Among his top legislative accomplishments, Harmon counts campaign finance reform and putting an end to juvenile life sentences without the possibility of parole. He also pointed to his role in advancing one of Gov. J.B. Pritzker's top agenda items, a ballot question this November asking whether the state should amend the Constitution to allow for a graduated rate income tax.
Neither Lightford nor Harmon had rounded up the necessary 30 votes going into Sunday's election. Lightford gained key public supporters early in Democratic sense. Andy Manar of Bunker Hill and Heather Steens of Chicago. But Harmon appeared to have more momentum in the final run-up to Sunday's vote.
7 Democratic senators, largely from Chicago and the suburbs, on Friday announced they would back Harmon. Harmon said last week he was confident he had critical mass needed to take the leadership post.
Senator Emil Jones III, who supported Harmon going into Sunday's selection, said that at mid-afternoon on Sunday negotiations were ongoing and that tensions were high.
After an initial caucus vote that put Harmon ahead of Lightford and then hours of negotiations behind closed doors, Lightford conceded to Harmon.
2 months of heavy campaigning for the job by Lightford and Harmon culminated with Lightford nominating Harmon as the next Senate President Sunday evening, and the 2 veteran senators, who represent neighboring districts, embracing on the floor. Lightford will remain majority leader under Harmon, the number 2 position in the caucus, Harmon said Sunday night.
Harmon hasn't said who else will serve on his leadership team.
We built a coalition ticket reflecting the diversity of our caucus, Harmon said, characterizing the flurry of activity that took place over hours behind closed doors on Sunday. We worked through some of those rough edges and I'm very pleased everyone came together in the end, and that everybody will have a voice and a role in the Senate moving forward.
Democrats left Springfield in June after passing a number of key policy initiatives on Pritzker's agenda, but by the time lawmakers returned in the fall, multiple Democratic lawmakers had drawn federal scrutiny.
Senator Tom Cullerton of Villa Park had been indicted on embezzlement charges for allegations he drew a salary and benefits from the Teamsters Union despite doing little to no work. Federal agents had raided then-Sen. Martin Sandoval's office at the Capitol. And former Representative Luis Arroyo had been arrested on a federal bribery charge after a state senator wore a wire for the FBI and recorded Arroyo. A source has told the Chicago Tribune that Senator Terry Link, a Vernon Hills Democrat, was the one wearing the wire, though Link has vehemently denied it.
Cullerton and Arroyo have pleaded not guilty. Sandoval has not been charged with any wrongdoing.
In an interview with the Tribune last week, Harmon said he thinks statements of economic interest lawmakers complete could be improved to be more useful and clear.
There's also the observation that people are being arrested for breaking existing laws. And I'm not yet sure what new laws we would need to stop this bad behavior. Harmon said. Clearly, there are areas with elected officials doubling as lobbyists that causes me great concern. And some of that might come out through a better statement of economic interest. But perhaps we need to erect stronger constraints on the ability to be on both sides of the transaction.
In addition to dealing with any further fallout from the federal probe, the Senate leader will have to navigate issues from property tax relief to Illinois' massive pension debt over the coming months and years, as well as the task of redrawing legislative district boundaries after the 2020 census.
Despite hinting at retirement plans a few years ago, Cullerton surprised his caucus and staff by announcing in November, moments after the Senate adjourned for the year, that he planned to retire in January. Cullerton submitted his resignation Sunday evening, and stepped away from the Senate podium to a standing ovation from senators on both sides of the aisle.
"I've enjoyed working with all of you, Republicans and Democrats alike. We've accomplished a great deal together," Cullerton said. "Now it's time for me to move on, my grandchildren await. And I look forward to seeing what all of you will do next."
After being sworn in as Cullerton's successor, Harmon called Cullerton a friend and a mentor, and "we will all miss you."
The new Senate president needed support from a majority of the chamber's 59 members. Democrats currently hold 40 of those seats. Republicans nominated Senate Minority Leader Bill Brady, and cast their votes for Senate President on the floor for Brady. Brady, though, voted for Harmon. The full Senate vote came down 37-12 for Harmon.
In a statement Sunday, Brady said he looks forward to meeting with Harmon to discuss the important issues facing our state, such as the need for fair maps, policies that attract businesses and grow jobs, and real property tax relief.
The General Assembly's legislative session begins on January 28.
Jay Monks at ChicagoTribune.com